Perfect.
Okay. So we just went through the success. So today I want to tackle something that I know has been a conundrum for us, which is the lesson planning for ELA. And I've talked to Alexandra about it too. And before we go into it, I want to really step back and think about some things that I've been learning. There's a Zach guy. Have you met Zach yet? Okay, so he's making me want to go back and get my PhD for real, because there are things that I wish I knew before, like when I was planning this last spring, but I just didn't know. And one of them is just around what research says belongs in a really, really high quality read aloud. So this is a framework that he's kind of compiled and synthesized. And then there's another framework from this Children's Literacy Initiative. And I just want you to read the two and tell me like what stands out as like the themes of what should be in a really quality read aloud. Okay, what are you noticing?
Well, one of the things I noticed is the book that's selected, you don't just tell them, like, today we're going to do this because good readers do it, but you relate it back to the text. Like, this is why I chose this book, because it's a good example of this thing that I'm teaching you. Of course, we need to model the thinking, but specifically the, like, questions that we're asking, they need to be, like, open-ended questions, and constantly checking for that understanding throughout. So that was some stuff. And also, I like that it brought up the use of vocabulary. Because I feel like that's something in our current lesson plans that even though it's in there, it's something that kind of gets, and then we move on right past it, but vocabulary is important. And they could learn new words. They already come in not knowing as many words as other people, so that stuck out to me.
I agree with all of those. So if then you're thinking about the gap between what we should be including in our lessons and what is missing, and this is on me too, like what do you see as the gaps?
Well, okay, I know that we go to a different thing every day. Should we continue that, or should we should we focus on a particular strategy for somebody that should we, to make sure they really understand what we're, that's just a question. It just got me to thinking when I read that. Just like kind of what we talked about a little bit last week, with just me getting real specific when I'm doing the lessons on what questions am I going to ask, when am I going to stop and ask them, and what am I looking for. That helps me check for that understanding too.
Yeah, I think so. I think continuing this script, the student responses is great. But then even to your point about vocabulary,
just
figuring that out.
A way to put that in there.
Yeah, especially with this move now to everybody teaching it. Like making sure that we have some kind of structure that they don't miss any of the components because they're not in your brain. So talking to Alexandra, we want these lesson plans to actually be super awesome tools. And I know that there's been some frustration around like currently what's being asked and like it feeling more like homework than like a tool that you're going to use in your class. Is that how you've been feeling a little bit?
I struggle with hooks because I literally make them up right on the spot, like based on like what happens like that day at school. Am I really did something like that? So I don't know. It shouldn't be as hard for me to script a hook, but I struggle with the scripting of the hook. Like I don't know. I don't know why that's so difficult for me. I don't know, but yeah. I can honestly say that this week I didn't internalize that. I think it's the format is a little overwhelming for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I like a lot of bullet points, like quick hits. But I still think what we talked about is important. I think it's for me just trying to figure out the layout that works best for my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
It does. Okay. So this is literally, we were talking about something very similar, me and Alexandra. And she kind of laid out a framework of like, essentially, I don't know if she's talked about this idea, but like every reading objective, so there's maybe 10 of them, like prediction, character traits, all these, making it kind of a mini framework that then you can like just plug and chug the text-dependent question on any given day and on any given day. Does that make sense? How does that like feel to you?
It's fine.
Yeah?
I mean, like I tried to do the lesson plans for Otis. And I mean, like I got them done, but I was thinking, I don't know, like is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Like is it so? Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to not feel cumbersome, but like truly something, and it'll probably be a little bit of a work in progress. But if I were to say there's an action step for the three of us really today, it's like creating the lesson plan structure that's going to work for everybody as like a tool, and including the making sure like these strong components of a lesson are in it, that framework, along with exemplar student responses. That makes sense? Cool. How's that feel to you?
Fine.
Okay, good. So then I'm going to turn this off.
Okay.
Because I want to